Hello and welcome to another episode of our solo podcast series. This is World Info Nexus and I am your host Sukant Chaudhary. Today we are delving into a dramatic and developing story that's making waves in international relations. The recent incursion of Chinese troops into Indian territory in Arunachal Pradesh. This episode will explore the background, the current situation, and what it means for the broader geopolitical landscape, and I will be asking you some interactive questions throughout. So keep your thoughts ready and let's get started. Recent reports have emerged indicating that Chinese troops have advanced deep into Indian territory, specifically in Arunachal Pradesh, a northeastern state in India. According to images shared on social media and verified by local news outlets like News5, Chinese troops had moved approximately 60 kilometers or 37 miles into this contested region. The evidence includes remnants of campfires, discarded food packaging, and graffiti. This incursion is not just a matter of cross borders but a symbol of an ongoing and deeply rooted conflict between China and India. Why do you think the presence of campfire remnants, discarded cans, and graffiti is significant in this context? What might these signs tell us about the nature and timing of the incursion? The graffiti found at the site, marked with the word China and the year 2024, along with the five-pointed star emblem, is a clear indicator of recent activity by Chinese troops. This kind of marking is often used to assert territorial claims or to make a political statement. The fact that the site appears to have been abandoned only a week before the discovery adds another layer of intrigue. Why was it abandoned and what does it mean for the current situation? To fully understand the implications of this incursion, we need to look at the historical context. The India-China border dispute traces its roots back to the colonial era when British India's borders with Tibet and China were not clearly defined. The 1962 Sino-Indian War was a significant flashpoint in this conflict, leading to a temporary Chinese occupation of Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin, a region further west that remains disputed. How do you think historical conflicts like the 1962 Sino-Indian War shaped the current border tensions between China and India? Do you believe that historical grievances still influence the actions of both countries today? In the years since the war, the line of actual control (LAC) has served as the de facto border between the two nations, but it remains a subject of dispute. The Galwan Valley clash in 2020, where 20 Indian soldiers and an unknown number of Chinese troops were killed, was a stark reminder of the fragile peace in this region. This clash and subsequent border skirmishes in 2021 and 2022 have heightened tensions, leading both nations to deploy additional troops and military resources to the border areas. Given the history of conflicts and skirmishes, what role do you think military buildups play in either escalating or de-escalating tensions between nations? Is there a point where increased military presence becomes counterproductive? Since the Galwan Valley incident, China and India have engaged in multiple rounds of high-level talks aimed at reducing tensions and achieving disengagement. Despite 21 rounds of these commander-level discussions, tangible progress has been limited and border tensions remain high. Both countries have focused on building infrastructure to enhance military mobility, which complicates efforts to de-escalate the situation. What strategies or measures do you think could help facilitate more effective dialogue between China and India? Are there any specific actions or concessions that might lead to a breakthrough in their negotiations? Internationally, the United States has taken a clear stance on the issue. The US State Department has expressed support for India's claim over Arunachal Pradesh and has opposed any unilateral actions by China to advance its territorial claims. Principal Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel's comments underscored the US position. We strongly oppose any unilateral attempts to advance territorial claims by incursions or encroachments, military or civilian, across the line of actual control. What impact do you think international support or opposition has on conflict like this one? How might the involvement or stance of major powers like the US influence the situation on the ground between China and India? As we wrap up today's exploration of the situation, it's clear that the border dispute between China and India is not just about territorial lines but about deep seated historical grievances, strategic interest, and international dynamics. The recent incursion highlights the fragility of the current peace and the challenges of negotiating borders in such a contentious environment. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into a critical geopolitical issue. I hope this episode has provided you with a clearer understanding of the complexities at play. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this podcast with others who might be interested. This has been World Info Nexus, and I am your host Sukant Chaudhary. Stay informed and engaged, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.